messy, needs a diff. Afternoon everyone, today is day 43 in my M140i. Mileage at the moment is 12,150. I just have a quick update today on my thoughts on my diff, making the switch from Ford to BMW, and I've got some information on the costs of ownership, what I've learned so far about this and how it compares to my previous cars. Firstly, let's talk about me making the switch from the Ford Focus RS to the BMW M140i. My friend Reg warned me in advance that the reaction would be quite strong. He said, you know, there's a strong rivalry between Ford and BMW. I thought, yeah, you get the normal kind of, you know, inter-brand rivalry that happens. But the reaction to me changing the Focus RS for this car, the 140i, really quite surprised me. Some of the feelings are very strong, shall we say, and yeah, it's been an interesting few weeks. How do the RS and the 140 compare cost-wise? Well, one thing I can report, and I'm very happy to report, is that I've had no repair costs in this yet. That's despite everyone, mostly from the Ford community, telling me that it's an absolute certainty that at some point I'm going to go flying off a road backwards into a ditch because this thing is rear-wheel drive. No four-wheel drive, they said. That will kill you. Yep. I'm keeping an eye out for that. If you saw my last video, you'll have seen that I recently acquired a BMW M Performance limited slip differential. Now, when I get that fitted, that will hopefully help me with that, you know, wayward rear end, give me a bit more control and predictability. My original intention with the rear diff was to fit it quite soon, do a few acceleration runs, do some of the exploration of oversteer around roundabouts, see how it feels and how it differs without the diff, with the open diff and with the locking rear diff or the limited slip rear diff. Now, I've changed my plans a bit now because I really want to appreciate how that limited slip diff alters the dynamics of this car, alters the traction and the behaviour of the rear axle. So I'm not going to be fitting that now until the spring. The plan is to book a couple of track days at Goodwood, about a month apart. There's a few days in the calendar that I can choose from. But to do 2 track days, the first one with the open diff, then get the differential fitted, then I can, you know, make a video on how it feels on the road and how it behaves, and then finish that comparison off with a video of me taking it on track with the locking rear diff for the first time and seeing how it compares. Now, hopefully across the 2 days that I book, I'm going to have consistent weather so we can get some really kind of meaningful comparisons and feedback on how the diff changes this car and whether in fact it is an absolute must-have, as everyone says it is. Until then, I think a session on Goodwood's skid pan will help. I took the Focus RS to Rockingham for their wet grip day last year, and that was fascinating. Really learned a lot about the car. Of course, Rockingham's closed now, so I can't take this there, but I have right on my doorstep Goodwood and their skid pan experience, and very luckily they do it in BMW M140i's. I did speak to them last week and check, and the cars do have the limited slip rear differential on. And poking around the paddock a short while ago, I saw the 2 cars that they use. One is automatic and one is manual. So I'll be able to take, in effect, this exact car on the wet grip facility there. So that will be good to learn about the transitions between under and oversteer and how the car is balanced once it starts moving and so on. So I'm hoping to book that up in the early part of the new year. On to the costs of ownership. The cost of ownership of this thing for me so far, and how does it compare with my 2 previous cars, the Fiesta ST and my Focus RS. Now, both of those I bought brand new, and I started logging every single penny I spent on the car from day one, and I mean everything. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, but here's how they worked out. But what I can see so far from, you know, poking about on the net is that brakes and tyres appear to be quite significantly cheaper, and you know, we're not talking a few pounds, we're talking tens of pounds. Tyres all round 100, maybe £200 cheaper than the Focus RS because it's 18 versus 19-inch rims, and the brakes don't seem that expensive either. Of course, we'll see when I get it on track if I feel the need to upgrade them, but at the moment brakes and tyres seem, quite comparable. Insurance for me is a little bit more on the road per year. It cost me about another £40 for the last 9 or 10 months of my policy year. I expect it to be quite a bit more when I come to insure it on track because of the rear-wheel drive nature of the car and the fact that it would be so much easier compared to the Focus RS to bin this in quite a big way. Vehicle excise duty on this car, road tax, is quite a bit more. That's about £100 a year more. It was registered just the wrong side at the 1st of April 2017 when the new vehicle excise duty regime, the scheme, came in, where all cars are 145, I think it is now. This cost me, when I picked it up from the dealer, I had to pay £250, so it's about £100 a year more. In the whole scheme of things, that makes no difference whatsoever. Cost of servicing, that remains to be seen. I bought a service pack for my Focus RS, so I paid for the first 3 services all in one go. Of course, I only ever had the one service, so someone else is getting the benefit of that. So the Focus RS servicing costs are a bit skewed. How's this going to cost? I'm not so sure. I believe I can buy a service pack so long as I get it before the first service. If someone can confirm that, please do let me know in the comments below. And something I wasn't expecting is the fuel costs. I mentioned in my last video the MPG on this thing is quite absurd, noticeably so. It just sips fuel considering what it can do when you put your foot down. It is quite incredible. So the fuel costs quite a bit lower. And depreciation, well, it's too early really to get a meaningful comparison because I've taken a We Buy Any Car valuation of this car now, and that's showing that I've suffered like way over £3,000 of depreciation in the space of a month. So, the 140's taken a bit of an unfair hit in that regard. It will settle down as time progresses, but as things currently stand, here's how this car, the Focus RS and my Fiesta ST all stack up. One thing I can comment on though is the initial owner depreciation. Now everyone says the Focus RS is depreciation proof, and I'm sure over a long enough time scale it will hold its residual value better. But the first owner, me, I paid 35 grand for my car. I owned it for 534 days and I did 19,300 miles in it. The first owner of this car paid 32,000 for it. He owned it for 574 days and he did 10,060 miles. So depreciation wise, they're very, very comparable to the first owner. The BMW lost slightly less per day than my Focus RS did. Heavily discounted, I think it was the reason for that. But in terms of the cost per mile, the Focus RS was leagues ahead. I used my car, and that to me is the best way to get value out of a car. Don't just sit it in a garage. Well, maybe if you're doing the garage queen thing, but actually just get out there and drive them. That's it for today. I'm going to leave you with a quick montage of a breakfast meet that I went to last Sunday morning on Littlehampton Seafront. Went there with Reg, had a really, really good drive there. The roads were kind of like they are today. Bit slippery, bit greasy, lots of fun. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like, a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video.
Oh, that part's too loud.